What's up, team? Cloud Cowboy here. Today, I'm here to talk to you about equipment, thoughting equipment, okay? Outside of the phone in your hand or the camera in your hand, if you're ready to start investing in additional equipment to help you get better photos, I 100% recommend investing in a tripod, okay? Outside of solving the problem of, having to lean your phone or camera up against something or prop it up against something to get a photo, what I really like about tripods is they allow you to leverage perspective, okay? Perspective in photographs, I think, is what really makes a difference between a really cool photo and a really not cool photo. So the right tripod can really leverage the creative side of perspective to the absolute max. So I'm going to give you today 6 things I look for when I buy a tripod. One little aside before we start, if you are using a telephone, what you're going to need is something to attach the phone to the tripod, right? So these are called I think it's like an 3/4, 8/3/4 screw. So it's basically a universal screw that goes into, cameras, right? So any type of, accessory, any type of thing in the camera, it's pretty much standard, right? See that little screw hole on the bottom? I'll put that in there. This is a Lume Cube, by the way. This is a light. But same concept. Camera's on the bottom of this camera right there, same thing. Okay? So this phone doesn't have that, right? So how are we gonna get this phone onto this tripod? Well, thanks for asking. So what you need is a mount, okay? And I've tried just about every single mount on the market. I'm not totally satisfied with the solution here, but it is, I would say, the best thing on the market. This is called the Joby Grip-Tight Pro, okay? And so what you simply do is you unscrew here, slide that bitch up, drop your phone in, and one instantly cool thing about this, okay, is, look at right now, this is where the tripod would go, right? Fuck it, let's just do it live. It is on this tripod now, right? Okay, and just the mount adjustment here. Well, I have my phone in upside down. I'm a great teacher. Look at that. You now have I've added maneuverability to whatever tripod I'm putting it on, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind of. The Joby Grip-Tight Pro, then there's the Joby Grip-Tight Pro 2, which adds a little extension here where there's 2 more screw holes so you can add accessories, and you also got the shoe mount up here. But personally, this kind of gets in the way more than it actually helps you. So these are about 30 bucks. I strongly recommend that as a phone mount. Moving on to the actual topic of the video. All right, first thing you look for, and I usually scoff at people when they say this about anything you're trying to buy, what it really is portability, okay? It's weight, its size, right? This here is I don't even know what it's called. It's a Joby something, right? Look at how small and convenient this is, okay? I can throw this in my pocket bag. It is not a man purse. And take it with me just about anywhere I go. Pretty concealed, pretty easy, and it is pretty useful. But just focusing on the aspect of portability, this is a really portable tripod. I mean, I don't really need a backpack or anything to carry it. Just a pocket bag. Versus, something like this, right? This is a Gikoto something carbon fiber tripod, okay? And when I went shopping for this, I bought the one that had the most max height, right? And in hindsight, I probably got it a little shorter because pretty much none of my backpacks can handle this thing in it, right? It's either sticking out of the zipper top or whatever. Great tripod, I love this thing. But it is just a little taller. So you do want to keep that in mind. Portability is actually a really, really important aspect when you're shopping for a tripod. Because you want something you can use everywhere. I have a really big problem where I bring way too much shit to my photo shoots, and it's painful. It's wearing on me. It's wearing on my life. So do keep that in mind. But we will get to another section about the height and what to look for there. Okay? Maneuverability. Okay? So let's take a look at this tripod here. Okay, the small one. We already demonstrated the functionality of the mount, so this I could do on any tripod I put this on, right? But there's a lot of cool stuff just right there. All right, but what about the tripod? How can I move this phone on this tripod? I click this button here, and I basically got this circle here, and then there's one little slot down, right? So I can go sideways, okay? So this is a pretty maneuverable tripod with this mount, right? But what I don't like about it is the precision, okay? The precision of its maneuverability. If you're really lining up for a shot and you want it to be perfect, right? And you're trying to line it up, and then every time you're touching this and it goes that far, it's a little frustrating. But for just quick grab and go, this is a good one. Another thing I don't like about it is it can, look, if I have my phone down like this and I really like the low angle stuff, this tripod is not very sturdy. It's not really going to be able to handle this in most situations, right? If you have a bigger phone, XYZ, and you can even see here, my leg's getting in the way. So maneuverability of the extra tripod, so which way you can face your camera and how you can tweak it, right? With this one, look at all the different directions I get. Very similar to the last tripod. I've got this screw on the top, and I've got the full kind of circle here with that little slot down at the end, which is important. And the reason they put those slots on there is so you can go from shooting, would that be hamburger style to hot dog, landscape to portrait? But it's not a super precise maneuver right there. Okay, so I always try to keep that one just about as perfectly straight as possible. Really convenient if you have a tripod that has this little measuring bubble on it, or level bubble. I just try to keep that straight, right? But then look at this. I've got this guy here, and these knobs, when you loosen and tighten them, it's changing the resistance. And so it's like, if you just want to get that perfect shot, you just want to change it a little bit, you can do that with a tripod like this. So when you're looking at a tripod, I strongly suggest trying to find one that like gives you control and like small control, right? Like you want to be able to make just really small movements. So that's why maneuverability and precision are important. Low angle. God knows I love low angles. And so I was demonstrating here with this tripod, and this is getting pretty janky. I've got my phone in upside down, leaning on the ground here. So it's a low angle, it works, but we're going to be hampered. You're not going to get a good view with that right there. But I'd consider this a low angle tripod, right? Versus, I got this dinosaur down here, right? The lowest angle you're going to get on this one is literally going to be right there. That's the lowest angle your camera's going to be able to shoot from, because everything on that tripod was stacked in. So with my Gikoto here, really full purpose tripod here. You see these right here? So first I have notches on my legs. So this is kind of standard out, right? And then if we want to get it a little lower and kind of give it a little bit more center of gravity, we can actually spread the legs out. Can you do that another notch? But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is I can flip the legs in on itself. Okay? And so with the legs in on itself, I can now lower the tripod head as close to the ground as I want, right? And so I've got the mount with another phone grip in here. By the way, that's you guys. Let's get this bad boy plugged in. Woo! Okay, I'm gonna put it on the tripod. Usually you do this beforehand, by the way. I just like to make things really difficult all throughout life. Okay, so now you can see, can you see? Well, and I'm tripping out, seeing two different angles here. Okay, let's move this. So, you take a look here. I'm gonna move this a little bit so I don't get the leg in my shot. And now I'm able to get low to the ground. I can use the built-in mount feature to angle it up like that. Like, I really like getting those kind of low angle shooting up at whatever your subject is, right? And if you can ever get them on like a ledge above you, hang like their shoe off or something, that's how you get really cool stuff. But low angle, I highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay, going back to the height portion, all right? Depending on the type of photography you're gonna do, you plan on doing, this could be very important. If I wanna be able to stand up and have an eye level shot, that means I'm gonna need a tripod, like I'm 6 foot for sure. You can check the Tinder bio, because the Tinder bio says I'm 6'2". So everyone knows you subtract you from that, and that's your real height. So I'm 6 foot. So you want something that's gonna be able to go as high as perhaps it's you're taking photos, and you want to make sure it can go to that height. And it's honestly nice to have a tripod that can even go above you and kind of get that up top looking down angle. Chicks love that, by the way. If a chick ever asks you to take a picture of her, you got to get up high. I don't know why. Okay, so that was height. So just something to consider. And if you're going to be doing photos of like models or things like that, like you really do got to consider that. All right, sturdy. Kind of point where you touched on with this one, like, you know, if it gets shaky around the ground here, this is going to fall, right? And something you'll see in photos, if you don't have a sturdy tripod and there's any type of movement on the ground, right? So especially if you're doing a long exposure shot. So if I'm taking a shot and let's say I have the, you know, the aperture, whatever the fuck it is, open for like 2 seconds, and I'm around the tripod and I'm dancing, that shake on a cheap tripod will go up and it'll be reflected in the photo. On a higher quality sturdy tripod, you're not going to see that as much. So that's a little bit more advanced, like you don't have to worry about that a ton. I'd just be more focused on making sure whatever your camera is, that it can hold, doesn't feel flimsy, and doesn't feel like it's going to tip over. If we were on just a little bit of a slight incline, you just want to make sure that type of stuff doesn't happen. And then so this last one's kind of just a little bonus one that I like to include. Really, any tripod enables you to do so much more creatively, right? And so what I really liked about this one was I was out in La Jolla, California, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And what I just ended up doing was I just put all the legs down. So that you can do this with literally any tripod, not just this one. And you just kind of walk with it, right? And so this is a way to like get a steadier shot. Utilize your tripod more than just to like stand there. And so, I mean, that can do all sorts. I can use it as, I can get an even steadier shot by resting on my shoulders, using these as like hand grips. So anyways, the whole purpose of, you know, thawing and photography and everything is just all creativity. So it's creativity how you use your equipment, creativity how you take your photos, creativity with everything. So don't go out and try to copy. It's okay, I think, to, you know, look at other people for inspiration, but you want to create your own art. And that's what this is. And the whole process, not just what the outcome is, it is art. There's no right or wrong way. I mean, there probably is, but fuck those guys. I'm doing it right. The whole process is art. It's art setting up your photo shoot. If you're setting up a photo shoot, it's art trying to get your lighting right. If you fucking really struggle with that, like I do, it's art posing. It's art, you know, just getting the photo right. And what's really interesting about photography and in videography is most arts, you start with a blank canvas and you add things to it, right? In photography, in a lot of scenarios, you're actually trying to decide what to remove. So, at any rate, this video has been a little bit long. I will be covering a lot of what I kind of dabbled in the actual like composition of photos and all that bullshit. So, stay tuned. Pipe it the fuck up. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in.